Hola clase, hoy vamos a hacer el preterito irregular. So I know that the preterite can be a little bit frustrating and it's only become more frustrating. So remember, the best way to make Spanish more enjoyable when you're struggling is to get a siesta and maybe enjoy something cultural. So desafortunadamente en español, there are a ton of irregulars, but before we even get to that, we're going to practice some more of your vocabulario and the regular preterite. So if you have your vocab list out, great. This is going to help you a lot. ¿Cómo se dice coat? El abrigo. Okay, ahora vamos a practicar el preterito. So I want you to put el verbo llevar, which means to wear, in the preterite. Yo lleve mi abrigo en el invierno. I wear my coat in the winter. So remember, in the yo form, in the preterite, the O changes to E with un acento. Vamos. ¿Cómo se dice blouse? La blusa azul. Mi hermana comprar la blusa azul. Mi hermana compró la blusa azul. My sister bought the blue blouse. And so in the third person, it changes to an O with un acento. Oh, you already have la respuesta aquí. No pasa nada. In español, when it's not a big deal, it's often said no pasa nada. So I say that all the time. El invierno pasado, last winter, mis padres me compraron las botas. My parents bought me the boots. Comprar means to buy, and in the ellos ellas form, aron is the ending for el preterito. Las botas. Okay, ¿cómo se dice socks? Los calcetines. Luis y Lupe olvidar poner los calcetines en el lavador. Luis y Lupe olvidaron poner los calcetines en el lavador. So you guys see, I made a mistake here. There's an N in this word calcetines. Calcetines. It's okay to make mistakes. That's how I actually learned to speak Spanish, was by making lots of mistakes and people correcting me. That is probably the best way and quickest way for you to learn un lenguaje. So go ahead, you guys, and make mistakes just like I am doing. And it's still spelled wrong, so I'm going to move forward at this point. Okay. I think I took out the wrong thing. All right, so ¿cómo se dice shirt? La camisa. ¿Cuánto pagar tú para la camisa? How much did you pay for the shirt? ¿Cuánto pagaste tú para la camisa? ¿Cómo se dice t-shirt? La camiseta. It is really common too to say t-shirt in español. So you might hear camiseta or you might hear t-shirt. Nosotros llevar nuestra camiseta favorita. We wore our favorite shirt. Nosotros llevamos nuestra camiseta favorita. So remember, in Spanish, in the nosotros form, it is exactly the same as in the present tense. So you have to tell by contexto. ¿Cómo se dice jacket? La jaqueta. La jaqueta costar 250. So in the present tense, costar is irregular. The O changes to UE, but not in the el preterito. La jaqueta costó 250. The jacket cost $250. Or euros, it doesn't specify. So remember, things that are verbs that are irregular in the present tense are not necessarily irregular in the past tense, and that's why it can make it so tricky, and that's why it is okay to make mistakes. The more you make, the quicker you're going to learn the language. ¿Cómo se dice tie? La corbata. Yo recibir una corbata para mi cumpleaños. Yo recibí una corbata para mi cumpleaños. ¿Cómo se dice skirt? La falda. La falda costar 77 soles. La falda costó 77 soles. ¿De dónde son soles? Where are soles from? So this is a monetary unit from a Spanish-speaking country. Can you guess what country that is? It's Peru. So in Peru, they use soles, and normally the soles, it's about 3 soles to 1 American dollar. And so our money goes pretty far in Peru, so that's always a good thing for American turismo. Okay, ¿cómo se dice pants? El pantalón. Los pantalones costar 92 pesos. Los pantalones costaran 92 pesos. Pesos son de México. Muy bien. ¿Y soles? Soles son de Perú. Muy bien. El pantalón corto. I just gave you the answer. So, el pantalón corto are shorts or los pantalones cortos. Mis amigas llevar los pantalones cortos ayer. My friends wore shorts yesterday. Mis amigos llevaron los pantalones cortos ayer. ¿Cómo se dice polo? Es un cognate. It's a cognate. So remember, a cognate is a word that looks the same, is spelled the same, and has the same exact meaning as in English or another language. And so you can tell by looking at this word what it is, and it means polo. So we're going to do a translation. I like to wear my red polo. So if you've been paying attention, we use the word to wear a whole bunch in the last couple examples. Me gusta llevar mi polo rojo. Muy bien. ¿Cómo se dice wardrobe? El ropero. ¿Cómo se dice my closet is small? Mi ropero es pequeño. My closet is small. So recuerda que es una descripción. It's a description. So that's why we used el verbo ser, which translates to es when you conjugate it. Muy bien. Vámonos. Okay, so I stalled long enough before I got to the uncomfortable preterite of irregular verbs. And so hopefully you just got more comfortable with practicing the preterite. But now I'm going to give you all of these irregulars. So remember, if you have your cheat sheet with you, it makes it so much easier. La fiesta de cumpleaños. So this is just una frase en el preterito. So just take a second and read this and see how well you can do translating this. La fiesta de cumpleaños. Carlos dio una fiesta de cumpleaños el fin de semana pasado. Muchos de sus amigos fueron, pero Santiago no pudo ir porque estuvo en Puerto Plata todo el fin de semana. Elena trajo la música. Patricio puso un CD de música bailable. Muchos bailaron, pero Jorge y Sofía no quisieron bailar. En general, fue una fiesta divertida. So again, what do you think this says in English? Even if you're not familiar with these irregular preterite verbs, can you tell what their verb, where their stem came from, their infinitive, what the infinitive of that verb is? For example, Carlos dio una fiesta. Dio comes from a verbo dar, which means to give. So, the birthday party. Carlos gave a birthday party last weekend. Many of his friends went, but Santiago was not able to go because he was in Puerto Plata all weekend. Elena trajo la música. Patricio played a danceable CD. Muchos bailaron, pero Jorge y Sofía did not want to dance. En general, it was a very fun party. So I have procrastinated long enough. So here we are with the irregular preterite. So double check to make sure you have your cheat sheet because it'll make it that much easier. On the left-hand side, we have the infinitive. So the first verbo that we have is andar, which means to walk. And the stem for that verb is anduv. And I'm just going to put all the first ones in the yo form. So it would be anduve. So one of the positive things about the irregular preterite is that no matter what, whether it's an ER verb, AR verb, or IR verb, it has the same endings. So estar would change to estuve, estuve, I was. Hacer, which means to do or to make. Is is the stem. Hice. But if I wanted to continue on, hice, hiciste, hizo, when I get to the other irregular ones, hicimos, hicieran. So poder, to be able to, your stem is PUD. So you always got to put it in the stem first and then add the correct ending according to your subject pronoun. Yo pude, I was able to. Poner, PUS, becomes yo puse. I used to teach middle school, and this one was always so painful to do because of the maturity level. So I'm happy now to do it, not with my middle school, but it's still kind of funny. Okay, so we have querer, QUIS. It becomes quise. Quisiste, quiso, quisimos, quistais, quisieran. I want. I wanted. Continuando, saber, sup, supe, tener, tuve, tuve, venir, which means to come, vin, vine. Yo vine, viniste, vino, venimos, vinieran. So these are your irregular ones. So it's going to be great to have this out in front of you for the rest of this chapter and maybe the rest of the semester because it can get a little bit challenging. And we're going to continue to work with these as well. Some more irregulars. So hacer is an irregular. So it is irregular, right? Preterite, hice, hiciste, but the ea usted is extra irregular and becomes hizo. So Hizo. In the third person, the C changes to Z. Nosotros hicimos, vosotros hicisteis, y ellos, ellas hicieran. So these are some more. We have decir and traer. And what happens to this one? Dije, right? You had a J in it. So it's extra irregular. Dije, traje. Dijiste, trajiste. Dijo, trajo. Dijimos, trajimos. Dijisteis y trajisteis. Dijeron, trajeron. I use the verb decir all the time. Ella me dijo, she told me. Yo te dije, I told you, right? So this is a really one that you would use a lot in the preterite, so it's good to get that one down. Yo traje galletas a la fiesta. I brought cookies to the party. So, por ejemplo, okay, vamos a hacer algunas translaciones. We're going to do some translations here. Me dijeron que va a haber rebajas. They told me they are going to be a price reduction. Me dijeron means they told me. Okay. ¿Trajiste tu abrigo? Va a ser frío. Did you bring your overcoat? It's going to get cold. Algunas más. Okay, so we have ir, which is irregular, and this one you would use all the time because you want to say I went, but guess what, you guys? Of course, it's super duper confusing because in the preterite, ir is also fui, and so is ser. So both of them, fui, fuiste. There's no difference between the two. So how do you tell if I was saying yo fui al supermercado? I went to the store, I wouldn't say yo fui al supermercado, I am the supermarket, or I was the supermarket. So you do have to tell by context which one is correcto. Regardless, it can be confusing. So ir and ser in the preterite are el mismo. Dar as irregular, you have di, diste, dio, dimos, distais, dieran. Yo di mis consejos. I give my advice. Yo te di, I give to you. Te lo di, I gave it to you. So you had those irregular ones that all follow the same pattern, and then you have quite a few that don't follow any pattern. So you guys have a couple of questions. So go ahead, you guys, and fill in the correct form of the irregular preterite, and then I will give you the answers to those sentences. Ándale. So your first sentence you have, número uno, yo hacer la ensalada. Ensalada, we're missing an A in that. Yo hice la ensalada. Número dos, Yolanda querer ir al cine. Yolanda quiso ir al cine. She wanted to go to the movies. Ellas venir por taxi. Ellas vinieron por taxi. They're coming by taxi. They came by taxi. Nosotros hacer la tarea anoche. Nosotros hicimos la tarea anoche. So anoche means last night. That's a great context clue in letting you know that they were talking about last night. Número cinco, tú anduviste en bicicleta. You rode your bicycle. Vamos. El sábado pasado, again, last Saturday. It's a context clue that you're talking in the past. Enrique y yo fuimos al centro. Anytime you have yo with another name, it's always going to be in the nosotros form. Yo tuve que sinorar una nueva raqueta. I had to string a new racket. Nosotros no pudimos encontrar la tienda. We could not find the store. ¿Dónde puso usted los libros? Yo le di gracias a Enrique por su ayuda. I thanked Enrique for his help. So this concludes our lesson today on the irregular preterite. I know that it's hard. I know that it's frustrating, but that's what's great is that you can use your notes when you're doing these quizzes, which is also going to help with memory. You need to see and hear something 7 times before you remember it. So just keep at it, and I promise it'll come to you. Que tenga buen día y nos vemos pronto. Ciao.